And it was on one of their climbs, on one of those blue days that was gushing into a bright copper, that Turner reached up and put his hand on something wet and clammy and slimy, and moving, recoiled with a yelp and startled Lizzie beneath him. She tried, but could not quite find her balance, and fell down to the mud flats, striking her head on a granite outcropping just before she dropped to the bottom. "Lizzie!" Turner cried, half falling himself until he was beside her, his hands under her head, startled by how quickly they were covered with her blood. "Lizzie!" "Don't you get—" she said, then stopped. "Whatever you do," she said, started again, "don't get blood on that shirt." She put her hand up to her forehead and it shook. "You better get me back to my granddaddy. I'm so dizzy." She tried to stand up, Turner behind and holding on to her, but her feet didn't go where she wanted them to, and Turner had to steer her as she swayed and zigzagged to the dory. The blood leaked through her fingers and dripped to the sand. "Almost there." "I can hardly see," she said slowly, and Turner's stomach tightened. When they reached the boat, Lizzie stood there stupidly, not quite sure what to do. "Climb in," said Turner. But he had to lift her front leg for her, and when she was in, she fell into a loose heap in the bow, and her eyes closed. Turner figured that the more awake Lizzie was, the better she would be, so he hollered at her, and when she did not open her eyes, he splashed seawater into her face until she sputtered and opened them. "Keep them open, or I'll splash you again." "If you splash me again, I won't help you get that blood off your shirt." "Just keep your eyes open, Lizzie Bright." He shoved the dory out, stern first, into the new meadows, and noticed how choppy it had become, with even some whitecaps tumbling between him and Malaga. He settled himself, took the 2 oars and fixed them to the oarlocks, then dipped them in and was surprised at how the water took them, almost sweeping one oar under the boat and the other out of his hand. He imagined watching the oar drifting away out to the open bay and wondered how he would ever get across if that happened. He kept turning around to look at Lizzie. "Are your eyes open?" he called. "Lizzie, open your eyes. Open your dang eyes."